The night was unusually quiet. A soft wind brushed past the empty streets, carrying with it the faint scent of rain. Streetlights flickered lazily as, if even they were tired of staying, awake in a world that never really paused. Ayaan stood alone at the bus stop. His hands were tucked into his jacket pockets, eyes lost somewhere beyond the dark. Sky life had become predictable for him. Wake up, work. Return, sleep, repeat. There was no excitement, no spark, nothing that made his heart race anymore. Until that night, a bus arrived, screeching softly as it stopped. The doors opened, and a few people stepped down. Among them was her, Aisha. She stepped onto the pavement, adjusting her dupatta as a strand of hair slipped across her face. She looked around, slightly confused, as if she had gotten off at the wrong stop. Ayaan didn't know why, but for the first time in months his eyes didn't look away. There was something about her, not just her beauty but the way she carried herself, a quiet strength mixed with a hint of sadness. She walked closer, hesitating for a moment before asking softly, "Excuse me, is this Maple Street?" Her voice was gentle, almost like a melody. Ayaan blinked, snapping out of his thoughts. "Yeah, it is, but it has a long walk from here." She sighed lightly, glancing at the empty road. "I think I got off too early." There was a brief silence, and then something unexpected happened. "I can walk you there," Ayaan said. He wasn't the kind of person who offered help to strangers. Not anymore. But something about her made him forget all his usual rules. Aisha looked at him, a little surprised. "You don't have to." "It is okay," he replied, a faint smile appearing for the first time in days. And just like that, their story began. The road was quiet, their footsteps echoing softly against the pavement. At first they walked in silence. But it wasn't awkward, it was comfortable. "So you new here?" Ayaan asked. "Yeah," she nodded. "Just moved yesterday?" "Big change?" She smiled faintly. Needed one. There was something hidden in her words, something unspoken. Ayaan didn't ask, not yet. As they walked, the wind picked up slightly and it began to drizzle. Tiny droplets of rain fell around them, turning the moment into something almost unreal. Aisha laughed softly, raising her hand to feel the rain. "I didn't expect this." Ayaan looked at her, and for a moment everything else disappeared. The city, the noise, the emptiness in his chest. All gone. "Sometimes unexpected things turn out to be the best ones," he said quietly. She looked at him, and in that moment something shifted. Not love, not yet, but something close. Days passed, then weeks, and somehow they kept meeting. At first it was coincidence, then it became a habit. Morning coffee at the same small cafe, evening walks under the same fading sky late, night conversations that neither of them wanted to end. Ayaan learned that Aisha loved the rain, that she wrote poetry but never showed anyone, that she smiled easily but her eyes carried stories she never told. Aisha learned that Ayaan had stopped believing in love, that life had disappointed him more times than he could count, that he laughed less but when he did it was real. They were different, yet they understood each other in ways no one else ever had. One evening as the sun dipped below the horizon, they sat on a quiet bench overlooking the city. "Do you believe in destiny?" Aisha asked suddenly. Ayaan shook his head no. She smiled. "I'll do." "Why?" "Because some people are meant to find each other, no matter what." Ayaan looked at her, his expression softening. "And what if they lose each other?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked at the sky, now painted in shades of orange and purple. "Then maybe they'll find their way back." That was the moment Ayaan realized something terrifying. He was falling for her. Slowly, silently, and deeply. Ayaan didn't say it out loud. But from that evening, everything changed. He started noticing the smallest things about Aisha. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous. The way her eyes softened when she talked. About simple things like rain books or quiet nights. The way she smiled as if she was hiding a storm behind it. And maybe that's what drew him closer. Because he was hiding a storm too. One night, they were sitting on the rooftop of Ayaan's building. The city lights flickered below them and the sky was unusually clear. "Make a wish," Aisha said, pointing at a shooting star. Ayaan chuckled softly. "I don't believe in wishes." She looked at him, pretending to be annoyed. "You don't believe in anything, do you?" "Not anymore." There was a pause. Then she asked quietly, "What happened to you?" Ayaan's smile faded. For a moment it felt like the past had reached out and grabbed him. "I used to believe," he said slowly, "in people, in love, in forever. And now I believe everything ends." Aisha didn't interrupt. She just listened. And somehow that made it easier for him to continue. "She left," he said. without a reason, without a goodbye. Aisha's eyes softened. That must have hurt. Ayaan let out a bitter laugh. It still does. That night something invisible broke between them. Not distance, but the walls? Ayaan had finally let someone in again. And Aisha, she didn't walk away. Days turned into months, and their bond grew stronger. It wasn't loud. It wasn't too dramatic. It was quiet, steady, real. The kind of love that doesn't rush. The kind that slowly becomes a part of your life without you even realizing it. One evening it started raining heavily. Ayaan found Aisha standing in the middle of the street getting drenched. "What are you doing?" he shouted, running towards her. She laughed, spinning slightly. "Living? You'll get sick." "Then let me," she smiled. Ayaan shook his head, but then something unexpected happened. He stepped into the rain too. At first he just stood there. Then slowly he laughed. For the first time in years he felt free. Aisha looked at him surprised. "See, not everything has to be controlled." Ayaan looked at her, really looked at her. And in that moment, he knew he was in love with her. But love is never that simple. The next few days something felt off. Aisha started becoming distant. Her replies were shorter, her smiles less frequent, and her eyes. They carried something new, fear. "Aisha, what is wrong?" Ayaan asked one evening. She avoided his gaze. "Nothing. Don't lie to me." Silence. And then, "I am leaving?" Ayaan froze. "What?" "I have to go back," she said softly. "For how long?" She hesitated, then whispered, "I don't know." It felt like the ground had disappeared beneath him. "Why didn't you tell me before?" "I didn't want to," her voice broke. "Make it harder?" "Harder." Ayaan's voice rose slightly. "You think this isn't hard?" Tears filled her eyes. "I didn't plan this, Ayaan." "Then don't go?" The words slipped out before he could stop them. And for the first time, Aisha looked completely shattered. "I don't have a choice." That night, neither of them slept. The next morning the sky was clear. Too clear, as if it didn't care that two hearts were breaking beneath it. Ayaan stood at the same bus stop where he had met her. Aisha stood in front of him, holding back tears. "So this is it?" he asked quietly. She nodded. There were 1,000 things left unsaid, 1,000 emotions trapped between them. And then, "I love you." Ayaan finally said it, the words he had been holding back for months. Aisha closed her eyes. A tear rolled down her cheek. "I love you too," but her voice carried goodbye in it. The bus arrived, just like the first night. But this time, everything was different. Aisha stepped back, then turned around and walked away. Ayaan didn't stop her, because deep down, he knew some people aren't meant to stay. They are meant to change you and leave. And just like that, she was gone. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and Ayaan, he went back to his old life. But it wasn't the same anymore, because now, every street reminded him of her. Every raindrop felt like her presence. Every silence echoed her name. But what he didn't know was, this wasn't the end of their story. Years passed. Not days, not months. Years. And yet for Ayaan time had never really moved forward. He still went to the same cafe, still sat on the same bench overlooking the city, still paused whenever it rained as if expecting her to appear out of nowhere. But she never did. Life had moved on. People had changed, but some memories refused to fade. Ayaan had changed too. He smiled less, spoke less, and felt almost nothing, except on rainy days, because rain still belonged to her. One evening the sky darkened again. The wind picked up, carrying that familiar scent of rain. Ayaan stood by his window staring outside, and for the first time in years, his heart felt restless. He didn't know why, but something felt different. Without thinking, he grabbed his jacket and walked out. His steps led him to the same road, the same bus stop, the same place where everything had started. Rain began to fall, softly at first, then heavier. And as Ayaan stood there soaked in memories, a bus arrived, just like before. His heart skipped a beat. He didn't know why he was even looking. Maybe it was habit. Maybe it was hope. Or maybe it was destiny. The doors opened. A few people stepped down, and then time stopped. Because among them was her, Aisha. She looked different, a little older, a little more tired. But her eyes, they were the same. Ayaan couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't even believe what he was seeing. Aisha onto the pavement and froze. Their eyes met, and suddenly, all those years, all that distance, all that pain, it disappeared. "Ayaan?" She whispered his name like a memory she never let go of. He took a step forward. Then another. You came back. His voice wasn't as steady. Neither was his heart. Aisha smiled faintly, but tears filled her eyes. I never wanted to leave. Then why did you? That question, the one that had haunted him for years. She looked down, then back at him. My father was sick, she said softly. I had to go back and take care of him. Ayan's expression softened. Why didn't you tell me? I tried, she whispered. So many times, but I was scared. Of what? That if I told you the truth, it would make it harder to leave. Ayaan let out a quiet breath. It was already hard, Aisha. I know. Rain poured harder around them, but neither of them moved, because this moment, it mattered more than anything. I waited, Ayaan said after a pause. Her eyes widened. For you? A tear slipped down her cheek. I thought you forgot me. I tried, he admitted. But some people you don't forget. Silence, but not an empty one. A full one, filled with everything they never got to say. Aisha took a small step closer. Do you still? She couldn't have finished the sentence. But she didn't have to. Ayaan already knew. Yes, she said quietly. Always. Aisha broke down. Tears mixed with rain as she covered her face. I never stopped loving you. Ayaan closed the distance between them. Slowly, carefully, as if afraid this moment might disappear again. And then, for the first time in years, he held her. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't planned. But it was real. And sometimes, that's all love needs. They stood there for a long time. No words, just two hearts finally finding their way back. Later that night they walked together again. Same road, same silence, but everything felt new. Do you still believe everything ends? Aisha asked softly. Ayaan looked at her, then smiled. No, what changed? He held her hand gently. You came back, she smiled. The same smile that had once changed everything. Maybe destiny is real, he added. Aisha laughed lightly. I told you. The city lights glowed around them. The rain slowly faded, and for the first time, time didn't feel heavy. It felt right. Some love stories are loud, some are fast, some burn bright and end quickly, but theirs was different. It was quiet. It was patient. It broke and healed, and in the end, it found its way back. Because some people aren't just a part of your life. They are your life. And maybe, just maybe, some love stories don't end. They pause, and then continue when the time is right.